Okay, so most of the guys frequently asking questions is about how to make a fast setup when they receive the kit. So let's take the 4 DOF example. Some of the guys that take 3 actuators pin for the 3 DOF and another one spare for traction loss, but some of the guys will also just use 4 DOF which installed vertically. So what kind of hardware configurations or position installation, so the wirings are the same. Okay, so when you receive the package, you will have the 4 actuators, and we will provide the yellow power cables which connected parallel, and you can use your own power line to make it connected with the power grid system at your local. So okay, let's make it simple. So this here, L1, L2 is for the power grid. Most of them for Europeans, Australia, and South Asia. The power grid is 220, but Singapore maybe 250. But this servo driver are totally working for that. But for the guys who coming from the North American, like American, Mexico, Canada, or Japan, but some of their power grids are 110. So we have already another parameter settings to make the power alarming system to make the lower 100 voltage. So that even though that's you plug your power grid system at the voltage for 110, this driver is still working. So this kind of configurations will be much more flexible for any kind of applications in any area of the countries. It will be much more convenient for any of the guys coming to working. Okay, so this cable L1 and L2 will be the power grid engaged system, and L1 for positive and L2 for neutral, and here is for ground. And you can use the yellow cables coming from the package, make them parallel. You see, L1, L2, the ground, make it parallel to another one, and use the same way for the yellow cables, make them connecting for the parallel. So that means all the drivers will be power engaged at the same time when you plug for the power grid. Okay, so we also make the package is a male-to-male 25 pins of the motion data cables. This is for the connection of the Thanos controller. We also provided the number axis from the one. Okay, actually here you see the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, we also have another spare port for 7. But most of the applications are 4 or 5 DOF. That's enough. Okay, so this is aviation plugs, and here is our actuator, for example. You can use, okay, by the way, let's make a very simple connections. Here, there is a UVW. You can see it's U, V, and W. These cables are for the power line connected with the servo motor, and here is a cable called encoder cable. Because for the basic specifications of the servo drivers, and when they make the servo motor working, it has to be power engaged and at the same time the encoder cables. So I do not make these connections because all the wiring are the same like this one. So okay, we also have the male-to-male cables in the package. So when you get the kits, you can have to check the numbers of the motion cables and the power cables and the drivers and the actuator. If you've decided to order a 4 DOF, you will get the 4 actuators from us definitely. So okay, so because I did not connect any motors, so that's the driver will automatically display there is something alarm. But if you make them connected, you will see this will be automatically display 0. That means it's ready. Okay, so use these male-to-male cables and make it. If you decided to make the position for the axis A, just make it male to connectors here, and the second, third, fourth, and 5. So when you finish the testing and the connections of the cables, just use the 4 buttons for the preliminary study of the testing whether the system are working well. So if you press up, okay, the actuator will be working. And these 4 buttons are test the motion system. If the actuator is working, that means all the connections are totally perfect. it is not working, please, if there's something wrong or some other not so successful for the connections, it will be not display this kind of motions. So it is the first setup. And okay, by the way, we also have a USB cables which make it installed in USB 2.0. Because it's for the faster testing, so I just use a transformer to power engage 5 voltage DC for the controller. But actually, these cables you can directly connect it to a PC port and find the right port for the motion data connections. So that's when we upload the right plugins of the firmwares. That will be working. Okay, so it is very easy for the setup. So if any questions, please do not hesitate to send us emails. We are very appreciate to give you any kind of service. Thank you.